If you have a problem that has addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, maybe even powers, in what order should you perform those operations? Let's have a look at that in this lesson. Let's have a go at this problem without a calculator. Did you get 30 as an answer by doing 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 6s are 30? Or did you get 20 as an answer by doing 3 6s are 18, 2 plus 18 is 20? We want only one meaning to that problem, so we have a convention that tells us how to work those out and which order to do it. We have conventions in writing. For example, if I wrote this, you wouldn't know perhaps what I mean by that. This might help. But if you can't read them, that's okay, because I'm not using the standard conventions. Now in maths, the order of operations are often learned using these acronyms. Do you know what each letter stands for there? I won't go through all of them because I'm going to give you a different one. But if you know those and you know how to use them, they're a good guide, but there are some traps, so you need to be aware of them. So should we do addition first or should we do subtraction first? All our acronyms here suggest that maybe we should do addition before we do subtraction. A subtraction can be written as the addition of a negative number. So 12 take away 3 can be written as 12 plus a negative 3. If you have any three numbers, for example, or any set of numbers there that you're adding, do you get a different answer if you change the order around? Well, 3 plus 2 plus 1 is the same as 1 plus 2 plus 3, or the same as 2 plus 1 plus 3. It doesn't matter which order you add them in. You will still get 6 as an answer. And the same with the 12 plus the negative 3. If we did negative 3 plus 12, we'll still get 9. So it doesn't really make sense to insist on doing the subtraction after you've done the addition, because subtraction is just another form of addition, really. And in fact, if we do the addition before the subtraction, it very often leads to a wrong. So we can write 12 subtract 3 plus 4 as 12 plus a negative 3 plus 4. And if we calculate that out, of course, we'll get 13. Now, if we see that the 3 is the only thing being subtracted there, we can easily see that doing the addition first, that is 3 plus 4 is 7, we end up subtracting the 3 and the 4. And then that doesn't make sense, because if I wanted you to subtract the 4 as well, I would have written subtract 4 there. So you can see that that's leading to the wrong answer. And the convention is that we do addition and subtraction at the same time from left to right. So in this instance, we would do 12, take away 3 is 9, 9 plus 4 is 13. And we can see that we'll get that same answer when we converted that subtract to an add a negative number. Which should we do first out of multiplication and division? We get mixed instructions depending on what school you went to. The BODMAS people might think to do division before multiplication, whereas the BOMDAS people do multiplication before division. And again, that's a guide only. Once again, like the addition and subtraction scenario, we can write division as a multiplication by the reciprocal. So divide by 2 is the same as multiply by a half. Doesn't matter which order we multiply numbers in, we'll always get the same answer. So 3 times 5 times 2 is 30. If we change the order around, we'll still get 30 as we saw previously. And so it doesn't make sense to say, yes, we must do multiplication first, or yes, we must do division first. And again, if we have this sum over here, we're dividing by 3 and then multiplying by 4, we can see that we're only dividing by 3. If we do the multiply by first, 3 times 4 is 12. That means we're dividing by 3 and 4. If I wanted you to divide by the 4, I would have written divide by 4 there, of course. And we can see that if we write it as a multiplication, 12 times a third, or a third of 12 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And again, the convention there is that we do the multiplication and division together from left to right. So we would do 12 divided by 3 firstly is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So what about powers? When do we do those? For example, if we have 5 times 3 squared, do we do 5 times 3 is 15 and then square it? Or should we do 3 squared first, which is 9, and then multiply that by 5? If we go to our acronyms, do they help? Well, it depends on what you interpret the O as. Most people say that as of, in which case there is nothing to do with powers there. The E is exponential, the I is index, and that's indicating that you would do the powers before the division and multiplication, and that is the convention. The power is done before multiplying. So in this example, we would do 3 squared is 9 first, and multiply the 9 by 5 to get our answer of 45. So we can use our acronyms as a guide, but be aware, of course, that multiplication and division are done from left to right, and addition and subtraction again at the same time from left to right. Bedmesser is probably a better guide, where the B is brackets. We always do brackets first, of course. The E is exponential, D is division and multiplication. Now we do division and multiplication at the same time from left to right, but if you do your division always before your multiplication, you'll still get the same answer. And likewise with addition and subtraction, should be done from left to right, but if you do your subtraction first, you will get the right answer there as well. So if you want a guide, Bedmesser is probably a better guide. Always do the brackets first, of course, and then really the principle behind this is that you do the hardest parts first. The powers are a repeated multiplication, so that you would do next after the brackets, because that's more complicated than multiplication or division. Multiplication, of course, being repeated. Addition, you would do that before the addition because that's more complicated as well. So the harder the concept, if you like, or the harder the operation, the sooner you do it. So powers before multiplication, before addition. So here's some practice for you. So pause the video and have a go at those and see if you can get some answers for those. So how did you go with those? With the first one here, we would do the multiplication first. 5 2s are 10. And then from there, we would do the subtraction and the addition from left to right. So 30 minus 10 is 20, plus 7 is 27. With the next one, we would do the brackets first. There will give us 3, so that'll be a 2 times 3. Now, in the meantime, we could actually do this first part as well, again from left to right. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 2s are 8. So then we have 8 minus 2 times 3. We would do the multiplication part of that next. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then the 8 take away 6 is 2. Now with the next one, we would do the squaring first. 5 squared is 25. And then we would do the multiplication and lastly that subtraction. So 2 times 25 is 50. 70 take away 50 is 20. In this lesson we've learnt about the order in which operations should be performed. Bedmesser is a good guide for us, where the B stands for brackets, the E stands for exponents. Then we do multiplication and division from left to right, and addition and subtraction last from left to right.